All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So we have some big things to discuss today, some breaking news. We have the Trump World Liberty Financial and just the Trump administration and also the Trump team is bullish crow. Oh my gosh, they're bullish crow. We've been talking about this. We remember, if you do remember, Trump and the CEO of Crypto.com were all smiley, handshaking, posting it on Truth Social, and it just led me to believe that I'm glad I'm already bullish crow and the Crypto.com ecosystem, but we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about a few different things. We got some articles. We got some things to break down. So stick with us today. Make sure you're hitting the like button. I see you guys are already doing great. You're hitting the like button. We got all of the usual suspects in here. We got Alexandra G. We got Don Cabrera. We got Steve Randall Jr. Thank you, everyone who's in here already supporting the live stream. And happy, make sure it's the right day. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it is Tuesday. Okay, I just want to make sure it's the right day. When you're in crypto, you literally forget what day it is, and you forget what you're even doing, what universe you're even in, maybe even sometimes what planet you are on. But we are going to do our best to make sure we are bringing you guys the bullish breaking news and the charts. But let's get into it. So the market had kind of a sell-off. You know, the markets just looked like it was going to recover, and it just took a plunge. We got some false moves. You can see here on Bitcoin, we've been range trading. If you look on the daily here, you can see that we're creating this channel. We kind of have this channel forming on Bitcoin from the bottom of 97, and I think if you look at this as a channel, you can see that the target is clear. It's it's above 128,000, 132,000. That's what a lot of the TA guys are thinking as the bullish kind of short-term price prediction. But ultimately, with the end of the year price predictions going to around $150,000 to $200,000 per Bitcoin. Will this happen in October? It's speculation that, with quote the 4-year halving cycle and where we've had peaks before, October, in the end of October is kind of when this trajectory is supposed to play out. Now, will this be the peak? Who knows? I mean, really, who knows? We're all dubious speculators in this market, in this game right now. So your guess is as good as mine, but we do have some things to cover. We have, no reason to be bearish on cryptocurrency as a whole. And I think if you were to look inside yourself and trust your instincts and intuition, you know that like on-chain is where to be. So if you can build a good bag and a dollar cost averaging strategy like a robot, and it doesn't have to be, exactly the coins that I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be what the next guy's talking about. As long as you understand your narrative, your coins, and you are locking into those 10, 15 coins max, and you just get size in it and you dollar cost average no matter what the price is, that usually outperforms everything. It outperforms trading, trying to time the market, trying to time the tops, the bottoms, rotations, all that stuff, swapping one token for the next. It's really just could be as simple as dollar cost average. So we're going to really focus on that for the rest of the year, because I think 2026, we explained in the video that we posted earlier this morning on the walk, that 2026 is, I think, where we're going to see all of the tailwinds and all of the things that are happening with the interest rate cuts, the legislation, the easing, the U.S. government being super bullish crypto, that they're releasing all these different reports and analytics and analysis, and having all the best people in the industry helping them to make crypto great again in America. And so this is the time to be bullish. But you have to know that it's not going to just be one green candle go and smash into the upside, because we really don't want that, because then we'd have a massive crash. So it's good that Bitcoin has this heartbeat. It has this volatility. It's just part of the game. It's just part of the process. And really, I think a great, breakdown that I had here, and this is my dubious speculation of getting a $350,000 to hit basically the bull market, support trend line. Bull market support trend line on the weekly here you can see is topping from 2017 and 2021. And so if we were to basically touch that trend line from the top, from where we're at now, we would be completing the measured move of the bull runs from previous cycles. And we've just measured them from 2017 and also from 2021 and 2020. And then from here, 2024 going into 2025 and going into next year. This is where I think the 4-year cycle might be respected in some ways, but then broken in others, because we have a different story and liquidity coming in. Like that is institutional driven and also driven by governments, treasuries, ETFs. That's a big thing too, is the ETFs. That's a big price push and a big reason why we've had even just a little bit of maybe sell-offs. And you think about Bitcoin, people are wondering, why was Bitcoin going down? Well, we had a big whale sell off Bitcoin into Ethereum. So, and in junction with sell-offs of the ETF. And so that can make the price go down. But speaking of dollar cost averaging, Michael Saylor, you look at Michael Saylor and he is, I don't know what I just spelled. I thought I spelled Michael Saylor. Okay, here we go. 4.5 million followers. Man, he is crushing followers right now. So if we look at the Saylor tracker, has he posted the Saylor tracker? Yeah, so he just said, on the 24th, he's like, look, Bitcoin is on sale. So if anyone has the best dollar cost averaging strategy in the entire world, it's Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, because they just have been clipping portions of the Bitcoin supply on every single point of the chart. Since September of 2020, they've just been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin. And it's done them very, very well. Against everything, this has outperformed anything that they could have invested in. And so this is basically the scientific method of a Bitcoin strategy given to you on a 5-year testing with this company. So you could do this on the small scale with your own dollar cost averaging strategy with Bitcoin or whatever it is. Maybe you have some alts that you believe in, whatever your portfolio is. And I guarantee you'll probably outperform, like I said, any type of trying to guess the market, trying to time it and all that stuff. I think is really, really, really important. Okay, so I want to know what you guys are drinking today. What kind of coffee are you drinking? Are you drinking a latte? Are you drinking black coffee? No milk, no sugar? That's what we've been drinking. We haven't been buying any milk. We haven't had any milk to steam up some lattes. We haven't gone grocery shopping. Ran out of all the essentials. So we're just like, we're drinking the black, just straight black coffee, no milk, no sugar. And we're feeling bullish. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin delivers, and my friends, I think it does. So this is really interesting. Okay, so in other news, we're gonna get just right into the news. Kanye, this is always classic. Where there's a scam or someone with the token, and especially in crypto, it's so funny when I don't ever believe it. When someone says their account was hacked on X, on Twitter, on whatever platform, I don't care what it is. Most people have 2FA authentication and there's some type of like security that is set up on there. I mean, I know some people don't do it, but for the most part, I think there is like, I'd say 70-80% people have that set up. So when it comes to someone as big as Kanye with his account, and I know people sell their accounts and all this stuff, but there's all kinds of verification and there's all kinds of stuff, and it's like you'd hope to think that these people actually at least have some control of their accounts. He said Kanye claims his Instagram was hacked to promote a fake crypto coin. I call BS with these big accounts getting hacked. And somehow they're like, oh, sorry. And we've seen the messages between certain individuals where they will, whoever is the person who's creating the coin and wants to do the scam or the extraction or whatever it is, they're like, look, we're going to make sure that you get however much from this particular launch. We're going to help you with the launch. And then in the back end, they have like, they're sniping the launch as well as the coin creators and bundling it. And certain wallets are being able to, they have the contract address, obviously, before anyone. They're going to make sure they get a nice buy, nice supply. It pumps the price. Then people start buying. And then those people and the supply and the liquidity builds up. People add in liquidity because they're buying the coin. And then they essentially rug it. And so what they do is they set up this whole plan where they say, you're going to launch and post this post. And then you're going to say that my account was hacked. And they just like, it's this play that they've ran in crypto Twitter on CT for years now. And so it's getting honestly kind of old, and I feel like no one should be falling for it. And this is why you should just, in my opinion, this is my own personal opinion, just stay away from any launch of any particular celebrity coin unless you know and are willing to lose every dime that you try and gamble or play with it. That's just the warning that I would give you. And just investing in general, just know that could be the potential that we could get monkey wrenched at any point and then have to sit through some pain. And that's what we're having to learn right now, my friends. All right, so this is very interesting. We got a lot of stuff to cover. So a lot of it being with Trump. So Canary Capital has just filed an S1 with SEC to launch a Trump ETF, the Trump token. So, and then I think inside of this ETF, it'll actually have allocation and assets with the Trump NFTs and the Trump cards, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of like what Canary did with the ETF filing for Pingu and having connections with the Pudgy Penguins NFT as part of the asset value for the ETF. Pretty fascinating. So this is cool. So recently just found out that Bo Hines, who was the US crypto, he was the advisor, basically the crypto advisor, or for the Trump administration, is now working with Tether. So got a lot of US connections now with Tether, especially with the Treasury Secretary Howard Lutnick, so with Tether, pretty bullish that we're probably not going to see very much Tether FUD anymore, because before, in the previous, before the markets would go on a massive rip, there would be Binance FUD, Tether FUD, and then ultimately it would then the dust would clear, and then they would send it. So it was like their last straw. They were like, Tether's going to collapse. They don't have 1-to-1 ratios, and everything's going to collapse and burn, and then the market goes. So, let's see what else we had. Some other stuff bookmarked. So this is funny. Yeah, Wojak said, you dumped your ETH while ancient BTC whales, Tom Lee, and Joe Lubin are all publicly bidding 9 figures. So you might end up looking like that. And then we have Jason Casper. Shout out to Jason Casper. He says, why do you keep saying we're in quarter, he got a comment saying, why do you keep saying we're in quarter 4? It's not quarter 4 of 2025 yet. He says, look, I'm 35, but consider myself to be 40. I already consider the year over. The time goes by so fast. Come back tomorrow and it will be 2026 already. Yeah, it kind of feels like that. That's why I'm already in the mindset that we are getting close to quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2026. I want to have that patience to be able to know that when I look at my bags right now, they're not near where I would want them to be wanting to like take profits or just no. I could use a lot more crypto in the specific coins that I've told you guys that I've built as my portfolio. And I'm sure you're feeling the same. And especially when we have price action like this, where, you know, things are, you know, for the most part, still not where they could be and where they were in the Trump pump, early November 2024, going into January at peaking for 2025. We're not there yet. Some coins have made it about halfway. One of them maybe being ping, you know, there's some outliers. There's obviously some outliers that have been able to make it to be able to make it back. But yeah, focus right now on the Crow token. So we have to find that article. We had that article. I don't know where the heck it went. There it is. All right, so check this out. So, this was official on Crypto.com's X account. We are excited to share that Crypto.com and Trump Media have partnered to make Crow a utility token of the Truth Social platform. Crazy. So inside of the Truth Social platform, you're gonna be able to use Crow. So in line with the partnership, Trump Media will purchase approximately 105 million in Crow for its balance sheet. So it's just like, I've been telling you guys, I'm not bullish Crow for no reason, and I've had some Crow locked up on Crypto.com for a while now. I can't access it until next year. That's what's amazing is that I have forced myself to not. I can't sell it. It's locked for 120 days. There's 120 days left where then I can unlock it, and I think that's going to be, you know, perfectly timed. Hopefully. You know, I'm hoping perfectly timed that when it unlocks, that is when that would be like the perfect time to be able to be scooping some profits off. Who knows? But the thing also why I'm bullish on this whole thing with the Trump, you know, anything that has to do with Trump and the Trump administration or his companies, whether it be Truth Social, Trump Media, or World Liberty Financial with DeFi. I think Crow and Crypto.com are heavily involved with FIFA, and they're heavily involved with sports, just sports betting, whether it be football, basketball, soccer. And so when it comes to the soccer games that we're going to be having here with the FIFA, basically a bunch of, you know, Super Bowls happening in different cities, Crypto.com is going to probably have a lot of exposure. And so I think there's just going to be a lot of ecosystem growth. And so it's pretty cool. All right, so I want to say hello to the chats. What's going on? Richard says he's drinking it black except Christmas morning. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been black coffee for a few days. Hoagie says, what's up? Been a minute since I've watched a good Dano stream. Hope all is well. Everything is well. We're just grinding on. We're grinding on. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good as well. Hoagie, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm calling you Hoagie, but that's hilarious. Alexander G, my best friend, so happy to see you. That's for Rashad. If I remember you correctly, your name is Rashad because you have Arabic. It's like your YouTube name is in Arabic, so I don't read Arabic. But But yeah, so let's actually look at the, so speaking of Crow, you know, we'll look at the Crow token and it is up 26%. So super, super bullish. And what's funny is that this is kind of the setup that I was looking at. When I was charting this, I said, this looks pretty good. I was like, it's in like an interesting breakout pattern. It got really pushed down hard, you know, right here in this section. And you would think it would have broken out from here, but you know, look, that was the altcoin breakdown. We're looking at this is the weekly time frame, and for the weekly time frame, this is a great way to analyze your altcoins to see where and how they're doing compared to the previous bull run, which you can see. This is what's cool about the weekly chart on Bitcoin, your altcoins, and even go as far as the monthly chart to let you see kind of where different points on the year of whatever particular year it was. So like you think 2020 was the halving. So usually in the halving, that's kind of like the recovery year. It's when we found a bottom of some sorts. We go up. And there could be fake outs, volatility, as you can see here, massive volatility. You know, for Crow, you see in the beginning of the year 2021, it went up to 24 cents from a bottom of 5 cents, went back down, and then blasted off, and then it took off. So imagine, you know, you buy here, and you're still holding, and it goes back down. It goes down, you know, 63%, goes down 66% from February or March going into June, and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? But then if you just are patient enough, then you get a basically almost 1,000% move to the upside. So that's why I think people are so fascinated and I would just say addicted to figuring out what altcoins they can accumulate to do something like this again. That's what we're all hoping for. If we've been in crypto long enough, have seen what altcoins can do. All right, so Hubert G is asking a great question. If we could pop his question back up, that would be, can we refresh and get your comment up again? Because that is the best comment. He said, Hubert G says, hey bro, I'm new at crypto. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? What a great question. I would say to learn about crypto right now is one of the most valuable skills you can learn. Just start slow. People think that you got to have thousands of dollars, but it is absolutely worth it to even start with $10. Go to coinmarketcap.com. Great place to start. You can see by value of market cap. So the market cap is the market capitalization and value based on the circulating supply of what the token is. So for Bitcoin, the supply, there's 21 million Bitcoin that can ever exist and be mined. And so that's a great place to start. You just start with Bitcoin. There's certain Bitcoin wallets and digital wallets that you can download. Like for instance, if you go and click on Bitcoin, you can see the list of wallets. You can use a Binance Web3 wallet. There's Trust Wallet. That was one of the first wallets that I used and downloaded to learn about the different networks that are inside of the wallet that you can hold cryptocurrencies. You'll learn about a seed phrase. You'll learn about all that stuff. Like the seed phrase is basically like your key to your crypto that's on chain. It doesn't matter what device what device you're viewing it on. It's not on the actual device. And that's the thing that people, misinterpret. And it's just kind of like your your cash account, like for in your it kind of is almost the same way, because technically the bank doesn't have your cash. They have a bunch of other cash. But when it comes to the ledger and digital cryptocurrencies, it is on the ledger digitally. So you can view it on any device. So say I have this iPhone and I have a trust wallet on here, and I lose this phone and I'm like, crap, did I just lose my crypto? Well, as long as you have the seed phrase, to that wallet, then you can take that seed phrase and input it into a new trust wallet that you create, that you import an existing wallet. Same with MetaMask, same with any wallet that has the seed phrase. That's how you're going to be able to back it up and recover it. And so that's the whole story of like when Bitcoin whales, they were like trying to search for this hard drive or whatever this is, and they lost, because they lost the seed phrase. And so the only way they were able to access is just to be able to get back onto the whatever device they had, but then they lost the device, but then they also lost the seed phrase. If they had the seed phrase, then they would be able to just put it on another device. Like for instance, like a ledger or a treasure, if something happened to this particular treasure, I could back up my seed phrase onto a new treasure, and I would be able to access the crypto. So that's kind of like, basics. Rule number one, just learn about the wallets and kind of like self-custodian stuff. Then you can get into, if you want to use an exchange, if you want to trade on an exchange, you can do everything from a wallet nowadays, like pretty much trade, perpetuals, staking. Yeah, I mean, now you can basically do everything from your wallet, even get a debit card set up from a wallet. So, but yeah, so using crypto is you must have 18 years old. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you have to be able to have access to a bank account. So if you have access to a bank account and you have Venmo, or you have like PayPal, or you have anything like that, then technically you can hold assets. But I think in terms of like using like certain crypto exchanges and like the KYC process and all that, yeah, I think a lot of it you have to be 18 years, you have to be 18 or older. So so there are some walls and some paywalls that you do have to hit, but still very, very much you have to learn about it. Like for instance, like CryptoKid's a good example. CryptoKid has been, investing in crypto since he was like 12 or 13, very interested in it. And he just basically, like through the funnel of probably his parents, being able to help him get access to those resources, then you can make it happen. But yeah, start with setting up, a Bitcoin wallet. Start with setting up like a trust wallet or a multi-chain wallet that you can get. A Brave actually has a great wallet. Brave has a great wallet. You can hold EVM chain, all the EVM chains for Ethereum. You can hold Solana. It's a lot of great options. So yeah, definitely learn about crypto and just start small. You literally can just start with $10, just $10, and then send transactions from wallet to wallet. Start testing that. So then whenever you start to send thousands of dollars, you feel comfortable with it. There's been people that never got used to actually sending transactions and doing stuff. They were just kind of like old school, like I'm going to buy this. And then they got lucky. They Bitcoin pumps, they have all this Bitcoin and they don't know how to send it. And they fat finger thumb, a transaction and don't even do a test transaction and fat thumb like millions of dollars down the toilet because they did the transaction wrong. So that's why it's important to, when I say like learn how to use crypto, that's what I mean. Just use it. Like do test transactions and get comfortable with doing it, because this is a skill that's so important going into the future. You should know how to do this stuff. At least I think so. Very, very important. It's like learning how to invest, learn how about crypto and how to use crypto, and about the different networks and stable coins and all that stuff, how to be your own bank, and learn how to use AI and prompt AI to help you with all of this stuff, whether it be building your companies or gaining access to information really fast and generating stuff. That is like the best skills that you can learn right now. Like 100%. Okay, so the Crow token. Crow token's looking really good. Crow token is looking like it's trading right into this channel. You know, I was a little overzealous. I thought it was gonna do this like right here, but then we had the breakdown. So this is actually what ended up happening is we just kind of bottomed out. We found a bottom here, and we are trading up to previous resistance, which is like where we had this big sell block, big order block right here. And this also correlates with 2022 bear market resistance as well. So it's going to be a little, you know, it's going to be a little tricky, but I think with this bullish news, you know, with the Trump media backing the Crow ecosystem, and I saw this coming already with the Trump handshake, you know, last year. I was like, that was the signal. So super bullish on Crow. I mean, 28%. I mean, that's great. So I'm just like spot holding Crow. Like I said, I've had Crow, and I've had different amounts of Crow all through the years, and you know, it's kind of like XYO. Like XYO and Crow have been those tokens I've known about for a long time, and I've connected them directly to Ethereum doing well. And it's like when ETH starts to do well, and I just think about when ETH gets to 10K, where these tokens could potentially be. And am I willing to hold through the volatility to see the potential where that could go? And maybe I'll dollar cost average out. Maybe I'll get a little spooked. Maybe I'll pay myself a little bit. And I think that's okay too. But I think ultimately, I want to be like a Bitcoin maxi that, like, just like how they were willing to hold through the pain, Da Vinci was able to hold through the pain, you know, all those OG people were able to hold, and now I see what they're able to do in terms of freedom of movement of liquid cash with Bitcoin value, because they were able to hold through that volatility. So, you know, I want to be able to do the same thing with my bag, hold through that volatility and see what could happen. Just see what could happen. And luckily we're in the right place. Like, I love seeing this. This is super bullish. You know, while everything is kind of, you know, was, you know, kind of in the tubes a little bit with the price, seeing Crow up 28% is massive. You know, it's great. I think it's really, really good. So shout out to everyone who's in the chat. We got Dave Digital in the house. Let's go. We got Headband in the house as well. Shout out to Headband. I gave you a shout out in my video. I referenced our conversation about how you made fun of me about how my old tokens, my old dogs, like talking about like Radium and Orca and you know and Aave and all the old, you know, legacy Orca stuff like that. The DeFi DEX tokens connected to like Solana or Ethereum. How I think those will pump really well. And he's like, ah. Or if I talk about SHIB or Pepe or Dogecoin or Floki, he's like, you need to look at the new tech. And but the thing is, I do agree with him. Like I 100% know that, of course, we need to focus on new innovation, new tech, see what's generating revenue. What are people excited about? A lot of what people are excited about is these SocialFi tokens tokenizing your post or whatever it is, or like a lot of that's like they're like a lot of the big, either, I don't know, brands or KOLs, even Brian Armstrong himself or whoever, Jesse Pollock, the base guy, you know, pushing the narrative through there. You can focus on that. That's fine. But I've seen like what happens with some of these freaking tokens. It's fascinating to me. And I think that And also with the gaming tokens, you know, you'd never think like sand and mana and stuff like that would start pumping again, but lo and behold, you know, you see it, the metaverse tokens. So I do think that we are going to see something like, because you got to remember, Radium is where a lot of the liquidity is. Orca is where a lot of the liquidity is for Solana. So if you're bullish Solana and you think Solana is going to do well, then I'm betting on Orca and Radium and Jupiter. Like those three tokens right there in terms of like money and revenue generating protocols on Solana. Radium, Jupiter, Orca. It's literally the only three tokens you need if you were just going to want to have build a portfolio around Solana liquidity and just like use case right there. And I feel like there's probably a little less risk than say going into, you got to know that these whatever new tech or new tokens or whatever it may be, you just have to know there's a risk with that as well. More upside potential, possibly. But I'm kind of going the old route of looking at what happened in previous pumps on Solana, where, you know, we had Orca basically go up 1,000%. You know, same with Radium. Just, you know, when we were in the true euphoric times, just wild. So I'm really paying attention to that when it comes to the altcoins. When it comes to kind of you know where I want to put my focus. I don't want to get too distracted by the new shiny thing over here and the new shiny thing over there. It's like these coins are only a couple years old and they need time to marinate. And I said this is a great analogy. It's kind of like the difference between slapping a steak that wasn't marinated on the grill or on the pan or however you're going to cook it, and the difference between a steak that you marinated like overnight or for like a few days and some seasoning and some juices and some like good marinade, and then you cook that baby up, and it tastes so much better. It's super tender and you just get more of a reward. And so I think that could, in theory, be how some of these ecosystems have to marinate, and it's not like the quick pump Kanye style celebrity extraction, you know, cabal token where, you know, you get that big pump, looks like, oh, it's a bunch of liquidity in there, cool, but then there's no marinating after that. It's just like you're left with false hopes and promises and all the things. At least that's how I feel about some of these tokens. And it's not to say that you can't, you know, try your luck with those things, but I think if you're going to really be an investor instead of a gambler, you want to be a crypto investor, you would be looking like this. You would be like, okay, Sol. Where's all the trading volume happening on Sol, and where do people set up liquidity? Mostly Radium. All the tokens that get bonded end up going through Orca, Radium, and that's where you see it. Even with all the launch pads, Radium and Orca have their own launch pads set up inside it. But yes, Dave Digital, I also agree with that as well, because I've made some amazing stakes that I've just took right out of the package. Little, you know, salt, you press you press it on there. You really got to get some nice pepper on there. And then, you know, butter glaze it. Of course, I've cooked a really good steak. And that's the thing. Mainly more depends on the meat. Just depends on the meat. Like chicken marinated, you know, that's, you know, like with some Italian dressing or something like that. But no, yeah, Dave Digital knows what he's talking about too. But if you guys have ever had my steak, you would trust me. You would trust me. I cook some of the best steak in the entire world. I actually cook some of the best food in the entire world, and I'll stand by that. But yeah, maybe a bad analogy. But you get what I mean. You gotta let the stuff marinate. So again, Sol, liquidity, radium, Orca, Jupiter. You look at Ethereum. Most of the liquidity pools and the things that are set up on Ethereum, you still got it's Uniswap, old school stuff. Yeah, Dave Digital Chicken definitely benefits from a good marinade. All right, the chat's popping finally. The chat's active. You guys are alive. Thank you for being alive. Thanks for hitting that like button. I don't know how many people we have watching. For some reason, it's not updating me on X how many people are watching, unless maybe I have to refresh this. And let me know how the microphone sounds. I've been trying to dial in this microphone and get it sounding the best I can get it to sound right now. Well, that was the 24th, so it's not really like that anymore. All right, so Eric Espacino said, give me the good news. Give me the good news. Well, the good news is that the Trump family went pro-crypto after Biden weaponized banks. So this is, if you're wondering why the Trump family, was so bullish on crypto, maybe they probably already were. Maybe they were looking at it. And they probably had a little bit of exposure, but I think that is true. It's not like they're just like, oh, boo-hoo, woe is me. Why should I feel bad for these billionaires? One of the most powerful families in the world. But it wasn't just them. It was like a lot of crypto companies and crypto banks. And this is Senator Cynthia Lummis actually said this too in an interview. And she said, look, banks that were solvent got attacked and were forced to shut down. And it was due to this crypto Operation Choke Point. And it was a weaponized attack on crypto businesses. I can't remember the specific name, but there was it was 3 banks that they just took down, and it was in a lot of and it was like maybe 20%, 30% of their customers were crypto customers. And so it was just this like weaponized attack of debanking accounts, companies, and then ultimately leading to the whole Trump family with, for obvious reasons, this kind of was like a smear campaign against the Trump family. And Trump said that Bank of America, he tried to deposit. He was like, look, I got accounts, everywhere. I have cash spread everywhere. And he was like, I had a bunch of cash. He's like, just cash, millions of dollars of cash. And he said, all I wanted to do was set up an account with Bank of America. I think it was Bank of America. He said, Bank of America said no. They were like, sorry, Mr. Trump, we can't do it. And he was like, I've been banking for you for 35 years. What? I can't put my cash in your bank? Millions of dollars? He's like, it will make you money. Why do you? So that was a true story. Said they would not do it. And so it's interesting how it kind of had forced this whole, and then in connection with the Trump sons and the brothers, fueled with Eric Trump, saying Eric Trump, son of U.S. President Donald Trump, said the family became pro-crypto after they were debanked in the aftermath of the Capitol attack incident in early 2021. And that was a connection too with the whatever you want to call it, the attack on the Capitol. And so it was a lot of things. But it's interesting how that has fueled all of the bullishness leading into things going on chain, connected with the stable coins. You know, it's kind of like a good, I don't know. Some could look at it and say, oh, well, they're going to use this to extract and make a lot of money. 100%. Yeah. Why do you think these people are in the stock market and are investing and trying to get in on chain? They know they're going to be able to make money from it. We're still massively early. And really, you just have to think about it, how the world works and how liquidity and money works and smart money. It's going to flow where they think they're going to be able to get the biggest return and continue to make more money. So that place is obviously, with the writing on the wall, is cryptocurrency. So the total cryptocurrency market cap, I explained this morning on my walk, is that if you want to basically compare how crypto is going to perform, just look at the gold chart on the weekly. Look at the gold chart on the weekly and look at how from 2015 and also from 2008 that it's just that this was the play. And you look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, and it's so similar. It's so similar. And so when I see the potential of it breaking past 7 trillion and ultimately eventually touching the trend line, what I would call the bull market, you would call this the bull market trend line here as well. That's how we end up getting to a $20 trillion, $20 trillion market cap. Total cryptocurrency market cap. I like to call this the moon boy measurement. It's called the moon boy measurement. It's where you get from the top to the top and you just let it drop, baby. Top from the top, let it drop. It's a new T-Pain song right there. 14 trillion right there in your face. So that's where I think, that too much coffee. Just the perfect amount. This is it. I mean, this is how you can just macro zoom out and just know, like, if I dollar cost average like a robot, dollar cost average like a robot, and just keep it simple. Whenever I have just like rotated too much or moved around too much and have just been jumped around and flopped and groped, flopping a grouper, flopping on the deck like a fish that just got taken off the hook, and I was just... Dave Digital's lurking in the gym. Let's go. Yeah, we got a little workout today. We just went on a walk. We recorded a video. And we lifted some kettlebells and did some push-ups and some yoga. If you guys have ever tried to do a combination of yoga push-ups, it's really cool because you just do like 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, however many you start to feel burning, and then you get right into a couple of yoga poses and you do like a little flow, do another set of push-ups, and you'll be burning. You'll be burning, baby. But yeah, keep it simple. So we're going to talk about the portfolio. So we talked about all the, thesis of the altcoins in the market, why you shouldn't be scared. Don't be freaking out. Bitcoin can go to 100K. I don't care. It could go down another 10K. It doesn't matter. It's still in range. It still looks good here. Crypto looks good here. So we got to look about 6 months out, 7 months out. Everything will be okay. So portfolio, we're keeping it simple. Bitcoin, ETH, Crow. We'll see what's been performing the best in the past 24 hours. So the Crow token, obviously, past 7 days, up 40%, 24 hours up 23%. The Me token, Medieval Empires. In the video I was talking about this morning on the walk about how the utility and the tech is actually going to be coming, surprisingly, and not surprising to me, from the video game sectors. How a lot of the big tech and a lot of the innovations in certain things actually came out of the retail demand and what retail wanted for video games and entertainment, like with online gaming, Xbox Live, Marketplace, whatever it may be. And then you think about how popular Fortnite got with the different skins, the different add-ons, the different things like that. And then Counter-Strike goes as far as that, and just keep going down the line and think, okay, this is going to be really interesting to see how literally millionaires and businesses and ecosystems are going to be created around just specific games and tokens. And it's going to be fascinating to see how much of a separate bull run is going to happen with crypto gaming tokens. I really think that it's going to be the one that possibly sidelines people the most, and it's going to get the most euphoric bid in the ecosystem. So for instance, I'll point out a couple of things and examples of how you could how you can build a GameFi portfolio, and you can base it off of what happened in the previous cycle and know that some of these still exist, and the ecosystems have been building in the background this whole time, and they are eventually will be used to keep continuing to push this particular narrative that I'm talking about. So Immutable X, it's the back-end ecosystem to be able to have signage, to sign up for an account, to link your account to crypto games. It's got an ecosystem of NFTs. It's got the ability to have your stuff on their own marketplace. It has the token, and they basically kind of just help you front to back on getting your game up to speed with whatever you need. That's super valuable. That was kind of the same thing as what Gala was supposed to. Gala was like game studio, kind of more so kind of like a game studio though. I haven't heard much with Gala. There was a lot of drama with Gala and the two founders back in the day, and so I have no words on Gala. I understand Immutable X better because there's a passport function that is used with Medieval Empires, which is one of the gaming tokens that actually has pretty cool utility of giving you bonuses in the game if you stake the token. Going back to what I said in the video this morning, if you can make incentives and build incentives on having more buy pressure and hodl pressure and make it to where gamers or people would invest in the token and hold it because they get bonuses and more things inside the game, this will just make the token pump because more people will be holding it incentivized. And Dave Digital, 100% I did. People always think that yoga is just for ladies, just for women. And if you'd ever done a full on like power yoga vinyasa class and did the entire thing and you had a good teacher teaching it, dude, you'd be sore. And it really works you out. It totally works you out. So yes, 100% I did, because people always underestimate it. But and also my wife is a yoga teacher. She's like a master yoga teacher. So she whenever I took her class, she destroyed me, and I was like, holy crap. I was like, that was no joke. But you can get ripped doing yoga if you combined like the whole gamut. You're lifting, you're doing calisthenics, you're getting stretched out. Then you're just like, you'll be unstoppable, because then you're flexible, you have good mobility, and also you're building good strength as well. But yeah, I think the gaming ecosystems are gonna be popping off. Okay, another example. We were talking about the metaverse tokens, and the two flagship metaverse tokens where you can build stuff inside and have sandbox SDK kits for whatever the heck you want to do. We have Mana, it's Decentraland, and we have Sand, the sandbox. And so the idea behind this was that, you know, companies and brands would use their metaverse to launch certain events and do in the metaverse, you know, special launches, and you have, you know, your character in there, and then also, you know, you have in metaverse items that are connected with the NFTs, and you know, the idea is essentially it's there, it's solid, there is a blueprint. I think there's still with the way that the world is going, I still think there will be a split off of people that are going to be fully ported in. They're going to give up all of their human likeness, and they will just like pour it in. There are people that would love to do that. They've been praying for that for years. They're just like, get me out of this body right now. And they'll be hooked up to a tube. They'll have a feeding tube, and they'll be basically like plugged in to the Matrix. And so maybe just to soft play it for a little bit, you know, they'll be able to do it inside, you know, the metaverse. And so I wouldn't fade these things coming back, especially when ETH, I'm just like referencing this a lot, but when ETH is really truly in price discovery and it's not being manipulated by the sandworm that's Binance. Remember, Binance has BNB and they have Binance Smart Chain, and they also control 50 to 60% of the trading volume that's happening across the markets. You don't think they were the direct cause of all this manipulation and basically, like, you know, if they wanted to play along and really like champion for altcoins to pump, and they're really building, the Binance is really building, then they would actually be holding ETH. But they don't hold any ETH, they don't hold any SOL, and they barely hold any Bitcoin. So what the heck are they doing? All right, another example. Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity and Ronin. You can do multiple ecosystem tokens. You got Ronin. Ronin is the ecosystem in the chain that powers Axie Infinity with the Ronin wallet. And then you have also the gaming launchpad. It's the Mavis Hub, and that's where you download the games and actually run the games that are powering the Axie Infinity ecosystem. This was huge. There were Axies that were selling for thousands and thousands of dollars. Insane value. I think the highest Axie value that sold was like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for one of those Axies, and they were kind of like Pokemon. And so that alone right there is big. And then we had Illuvium. Illuvium had 3 different games that were inside of this ecosystem, and this thing pumped crazy. This thing went up like thousands of % as well. Just nuts. Yeah, it got up to like it got up to the valuation was in the billions, and then it just kind of and then it went into the floor. Chart on the monthly just looks like and this is the thing. This is why I think the crypto gaming ecosystem tokens are going to sideline people, because all of a sudden we could get a rebirth. We could get a rebirth. But yeah, this is kind of like my golden, one of my golden gooses is just, be bullish on crypto gaming, and hopefully that works out. All right, what else do we want to talk about? There's a couple things. Let's see. Okay, so let's get the full little bit more detail in the Trump and Crow crypto.com We kind of blasted through that a little bit. We didn't really give you the in-depth information. So let's see. So the Crow Treasury. So under the agreement, the new Treasury will receive roughly $1 billion in Crow, equal to about 19% of the token's market capitalization at the time of announcement. In addition, partners plan to contribute $200 million in cash and another $220 million through warrant exercises. Yorkville has also arranged a $5 billion equity line of credit via an affiliate, providing a mechanism for further token purchases. The company plans to stake its Crow assets to generate recurring revenue. According to executives, the goal is to create a flywheel effect. This means that as more Crow is acquired and staked, the token's value could rise, enabling further fundraising and deeper integration across financial services. So speaking on the deal, Chris Marzellik, co-founder and CEO of Crypto.com, said, "The sheer size and structure of this project will encompass more than the entire current market capitalization of Crow." That's wild. With the additional comments of over $400 million in cash and a further $5 billion line of credit facility to acquire additional Crow. So that's crazy. So integration with the Trump media, the partnership expands the link between Trump media and the Kronos ecosystem. Truth Social, Trump's social media platform, is expected to adopt Crow as its native token. Trump media has separately disclosed $105 million worth of Crow purchases, while Crypto.com acquired $50 million of Trump media shares. So this is crazy. So, and also he added, financial markets are becoming increasingly digital every day, and companies of all sizes and sectors are strategically planning for the future by establishing digital asset treasuries anchored by assets that have created a comprehensive value proposition and are poised for even greater utility, tech, price, narrative, bullish. Let's go. I thought it sound like the EA guy, like EA Sports. It's in the game. Oh, I did that really good. Man, that was good. Did that bring you back? EA Sports. It's in the game. It's in the game, guys. It's in the game. It's in the freaking game. But yeah, Crow up 27%. Topic of discussion. ETH BTC looking bullish. This is your signal for altcoins. People were wondering, are we really going to get an altcoin season? I don't know. I hope my altcoins get an altcoin season. I hope yours do too. I hope everyone's alts get an altcoin season. It's in the gains. Yeah. We're like EA crypto. It's in the gains. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I feel like I finally got my camera was like, I looked like the Grinch. And so I think my camera finally looks good. I got it dialed in. It was acting super funky. And you guys gave me the confirmation that the microphone does sound better, so that's good. All right, let's see. Was there anything else to cover? Let's see. We're on zero hedge right now. Oh yeah, this was that whale. So it's a long dormant Bitcoin whale bets big on Ethereum upside. So a Bitcoin whale, Bitcoin wallet dormant for 7 years recently became active, selling a significant portion of BTC. That multi-billion Bitcoin whale is closing his recently opened Ether long position and buying hundreds of millions worth of spot Ether, signaling that big investors are expecting more upside from the world's second largest cryptocurrency. And so last week, a Bitcoin whale worth over 11 billion sold. Yeah, it was about 22,000 Bitcoin worth 2.5 billion, rotating the funds into 472,000 spot Ether, or 2.2 billion. We talked about this, that every cycle has a particular rotation. So this is what is interesting. This is what's so fascinating about the dollar cost averaging strategy. If you can basically like just dollar cost average Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is how you don't even have to time stuff like this. It's just like you are just giving yourself exposure to big money betting for this stuff to continue to go up. It's as simple as that. Big money is betting on this to go up, and they're putting size into spot accumulation back. So on Monday, the whale closed the 450 million worth of his perpetual long positions at an ether price of 4,735 to lock in 33 million worth of profit before acquiring another 108 million worth of spot ether. So basically just using, and this is what's interesting, he's using the same strategy that I've used, where if you can manage to make some profits at all, use them to dollar cost average and build up your spot bag, because that's just like, hey, you won, you did it. How now? What are you going to do with it? Best to just put it in something that you're going to now long-term hold. And so this is what is really, really fascinating about this this strategy. It really does work. And if you can be robotic about it, holy crap, you'd be surprised at how much crypto you'll end up having. Analysts, including Willy Woo, are pointing for these whale rotations as the main reason behind last week's Bitcoin slump. And then also, like we said, it also correlates with the sell-off of the ETF as well. So you have to combine the two. Cryptocurrency traders often track large whale movements to gauge short-term market trends. So Ether may target this $5,200 level amid Bitcoin's crab walk. And this is the same level that we're calling. And the reason why we're calling that is based on the Fibonacci extension that is sitting at the 1618, which is basically right above that price call at $5,741. That is actually where we think the price is going to be headed here very, very shortly. I don't think it's right around the corner. I mean, it might happen it might happen it might happen sometime in September. September normally historically has been kind of a crappy month for crypto. If we look historically, September is basically since 2017 going all the way up to 2022, September is red. And in 2023 and 2024, you can see it was in the green. So if we're going to end the month of August in the red, could that give us a green September and October? I mean, we're just going to have to see. But ultimately, I'm bullish. Because I know that I'm going to continue to dollar cost average, and we still have some time to go. I also am feeling very confident and bullish because we are going to get an altcoin season, and we're not even freaking close to the red and the orange up here. And like this chart signifies that we're only halfway there. We're only halfway there. We've technically just been going sideways since April of 2024. If you look at this chart, we've just been going sideways since April of 2024. And I know it doesn't seem like it. But when you look at this chart, yeah. It's not even close yet, guys. So just be patient, lock in, and just have some fun. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate every single one of you. God bless you and your families. May the light of the Lord Jesus Christ shine on you and your families and your loved ones. I hope you go into the rest of the day feeling cool, calm, and collected. Don't let all this short-term price action fool you. I think if you just really focus and you zoom out, look at your altcoins on the weekly and the monthly charts, I think it will calm your nerves. All right, my friends, thank you again. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you share this live stream with a friend. and tell them that the top 3 things they need to be focusing on right now, if they are not already, is learning how to invest. Learn about crypto and how to use it, and learn how to prompt AI and use AI to speed run the things that you want to get done. And if you can learn those 3 things and stack them all together and apply it to whatever you're interested in, you will be so ahead of the game and the curve that you will surprise yourself. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next live stream. Peace out.